here's a story from The World.
We start the show with Hurricane Melissa, which is churning through the Caribbean as we speak. Residents of Jamaica, Haiti, Cuba, the Bahamas, and other nearby islands are bracing for a catastrophic impact. The storm has intensified into a Category 5 hurricane, the highest level on the Saffir-Simpson scale. It's expected to make landfall in Jamaica tonight or early tomorrow, bringing with it a deluge of rain and serious destruction. Jamaica's Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, addressed the nation earlier.
Prepare your evacuation plan and comply with the evacuation orders given.
As Jamaicans grappled with those warnings today, we got climate scientist Michael Taylor on the line. He's in Kingston, where he heads the Faculty of Science and Technology at the University of the West Indies.
It is south of Jamaica, expected to make a north and then northeast turn, which would take it right over the country. We are in the cone of influence, so we have been seeing some effects, but bracing for the worst.
So obviously flash flooding is a major concern, with rainfall predictions coming not in inches but in feet. More than 2 feet, I see. Is that still the prediction?
Yes, the amount of rainfall we're expected to get will be catastrophic. Also, the wind impact we are bracing for, the wind strengths are expected to be equally catastrophic. The speed at which it's moving would mean we'd be under this for quite a while. Storm surge is also the other impact, especially on our coastal areas, especially with the strength of the storm.
Right, and as you move north of the southern coast, there are the mountains in the interior of Jamaica. Are landslides a concern as well?
Yes, and this, of course, comes out of the fact that for the past, I would say month, 2 months, we have had quite a bit of rain already, and so the soils are extremely saturated.
Right. So sea surface temperatures around Jamaica, I've seen, are unusually warm now. How much has that contributed to Melissa's rapid intensification into a Cat 5 storm?
One of the things is clearly the exceptional sea surface temperatures you have said, not only at the surface, but the depth of the warmth as well. This means not only is there enormous moisture to feed, atmospheric moisture to feed in to the storm, but the fuel, therefore. And I think we are seeing this play out. The other characteristic clearly is that rapid intensification, a key feature of storms in this kind of climate era. And then a number of papers have already pointed to is the slow speed of the storm. That's the other kind of scientific element that makes Melissa fit into the characteristic of storms of a climate warming era.
So how are Jamaicans handling what I imagine is a very scary, upsetting situation?
We're doing our best. From the kind of government level, we have had daily briefings from our various disaster agencies, our Met services, disaster coordinators are on standby. We have been declared a threatened area. Mandatory evacuation orders are out there. All the critical infrastructure that you will need to recover is being put in place. Shelters have been opened. Lots of public awareness. On a personal level, people have been doing the best that they can. We went through Berry last year, so people were almost on a heightened awareness. Here it is happening again, and so quickly. You have your batteries to stay informed, by battery radio when the power goes, all the kind of personal things, storing water, charging your power banks have been put in place. So people are trying to handle this as best as possible.
You mentioned Hurricane Beryl last year, and some experts are looking at Hurricane Melissa's characteristics and saying this is more and more what storms on our warming planet will look like. Is that analysis shared by you?
Absolutely. Melissa has all the characteristics, I think, of what a storm in the climate warming era does look like. You expect storms in the climate warming era to rapidly intensify. This did this. There's new science that suggests you expect them to slow down. This also did this. This, I think, will be our third Category 5 for this season. That's a characteristic you'd expect in a climate warming era. The fact that we're in this again just 1 year out, with this kind of intensity, seems the frequency of very strong storms, not necessarily more storms, but very strong, seems to be a characteristic of a climate warming era. Definitely, there are a number of characteristics that, I would suggest have the climate warming signal or imprint.
Can you describe the highest risk communities and what they're facing as Melissa closes in on landfall?
Jamaica, if you know, It has a very mountainous interior. And then we have these narrow coastal plains, and we're not a very large island. So risk comes from various parts in various ways. Definitely the South Coast communities, because they are all in this coastal plain. That's where, the capital city, Kingston, is. But then there are several other major cities. That's where, much of our major infrastructure, our hospitals, our power plants, etc., are located. And some of them are very low lying. So, for example, Portmore, which is close to Kingston. But then you can also go to the South Coast, which really suffered under Berry last year, in the west, the western South Coast. But then there is also the people who live on the mountain interior. Lots of life takes place there. And there the risk now is not just the storm surge and the coastal flooding, but now is the landslide risk. There's also the risk for the North Coast, which is our tourism capital as well. But just the geography of Jamaica puts the risk almost everywhere. It's just a different kind of risk.
So, Michael, I've heard reports that some communities near the coast were not evacuating. Has that idea that these hurricanes are getting more intense and that they are the new norm and will only get worse, has that trickled down to the majority of the population?
Well, the truth is, I think, how we have been how we've been experiencing climate change, including in these extreme events, I would almost want to say climate has been making its own case. So there is a strong level of awareness of climate change and these strong storms and what they are likely to do. But there are people, for various reasons that will not evacuate. And they're not all, what I would say, just being stubborn. People want to hold on to their properties. These are things that have great meaning, to them. There's always the threat that when you move out, others may take advantage of the storm, in those kinds of ways. And then, of course, you have a memory that, well, I survived the last one, and you hold on to that memory. So there are people who are, for various reasons, are staying in place. We really do want them to evacuate, especially when they are at the coastal communities. But I would hasten to add that even those who are staying in place, there is an awareness of the danger and the risk involved.
Jamaican climate scientist Michael Taylor, he heads the Faculty of Science and Technology at the University of the West Indies in Kingston. Thank you very much, Michael, and please stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you for thinking about us, and we hope, it will get the word out about climate change and its impact on small islands.
We're doing what we can. Thank you very much.
Okay. Take care.